Welcome to ilectureonline. In this example, the charges are not linear, and therefore we have to employ a slightly different technique. We still start with the same concept. We find the force on which we find the charge on which we're trying to find the force acting on it relative to the effect of the other two charges. So in this case, we're trying to find the force on Q3 due to the presence of Q1 and Q2. And we should also, just like before, start with drawing the vectors representing those forces. So we have kind of a visual perspective on what's happening. I'm looking for my red pen here. Oh, there it is. So between Q2 and Q3, since the forces are both positive, it's a force of repulsion. And so Q3 will be pushing against Q3 in this direction. And this will then be the force F between 2 and 3. Now the force between 1 and 3. Well, that will be along this diagonal line, so the force will be in this direction. And since the distance between these two charges is greater than the distance between these two charges, you expect the force to be smaller. So this here would be the force between 1 and 3. And then you can graphically add those two together. You can see if you draw a parallelogram, you draw a line parallel to the first force, a line parallel to the second force, where the two lines meet, that will be the direction for the resultant force. This will be F total, which is simply the sum of F13 plus F23. And that is what we're trying to find, the total force. To do that, notice we're going to have to take the components of F13, because in order to add vectors together, you can only add the x and the y components together. So what we need to do there is we need to find the x component of F13, which will be pointing in this direction, and the y component of F13 in this direction. So this will be F13 in the x direction, and the component F13 in the y direction. How do we find that? Well, we can see here that this is actually the shape of a square, so this would be the diagonal of that square, which means the angle here, theta, would be equal to 45 degrees. So to find the x component of that, we can say that F13 in the x direction is equal to, that would be the magnitude of the force, F13, times the cosine of the angle between them. And of course, that would be in the x direction. For the y direction, we can say that F13 in the y direction is equal to the magnitude F13 times the sine of the angle theta, and that would be in the y direction. But now notice, since it's pointing downward, we need a negative sign in front because it's a negative y direction. So those are the two components of F13, which will then add to F23 when we're ready to do the vector addition. Before we can do that, however, we're going to have to find the magnitudes of F13 and F12. So let's go ahead and do that. The force between 1, 2 is equal to, and let's see here. We don't want 1, 2. We don't want that one. We want 1, 3. The force between 1 and 3 is equal to K times Q1, Q3 divided by the distance between them squared. So this would be K, Q times Q divided by the distance between 1 and 3. Notice that's along the diagonal, so it would be the square root of 2 times d, quantity squared, which is 1/2 k q squared divided by d squared. The same between 2 and 3, the two charges. Force between 2 and 3 is equal to k times q2, q3 divided by the distance between them squared. So in this case, that's k q squared divided by d squared. Now that we have the two magnitudes, now we can go ahead and start adding the vectors together. So now we can say that the force in the x direction, so the total force in the x direction, is equal to, we're going to add F23 together. So maybe what we'll do here is we'll write it like this. The magnitude, so the vector F in the x direction is equal to F23 plus the component F2 Let me start this one over again. Okay, ready? Okay. Now we're ready to start adding the x and y components together to find the final total force on Q3. So starting with the total force on Q3, that would be in the x direction first. That is equal to F23, because that points in the x direction, plus the component of F13 pointing in the x direction. So in this case, the magnitude of F23, is right here, so that would be kq squared over d squared. And then we're going to add to that the magnitude of F13 in the x direction. So actually what we're going to do is just write it like this, plus the x component of F13, which is right here, which is the magnitude of F13, which we find over here, 1/2 times kq squared over d squared, that's the magnitude of F13, times the cosine of 45 degrees. And that's also in the x direction. And so all we have to do then is simply add those two together. Notice that cosine of 45 degrees is 0.707 multiplied times 1/2. So this becomes equal to 1 plus, that would be 1 plus 0.707 divided by 2 multiplied times kq squared over d squared in the x direction. That would be the magnitude of the force in the x direction. And now for the magnitude of the force in the y direction, notice we only have one pointing in the y direction, negative y direction. So to find the final force in the y direction, that's equal to minus F13 times the sine of theta in the y direction. And so F13, the magnitude that is right here, so it would be minus 1/2 times kq squared divided by d squared times the sine of 45 degrees in the y direction. And finally, combine that a little bit more. This is equal to a minus 0.707 divided by 2 times kq squared over d squared. And so this here is the component of the final force in the x direction. This here is the component of the force in the y direction. Forgot my y there, and forgot my little unit vector symbol. And then, of course, if we then want to write the total of that, we can say that F is equal to the x component, which would be 1 plus 0.707 divided by 2 times kq squared over d squared in the x direction, and then minus the quantity 0.707 divided by 2 kq squared over d squared in the y direction. And that would be the force acting on Q3 due to the presence of Q1 and Q2. So let's quickly review to see what the technique is here. We're trying to find the force on this charge. We first draw the vectors. We see that between Q2 and Q3, there's a vector pointing to the right because this force pushes against this force in this direction. Or say this charge pushes against this charge in this direction. Between these two charges, the force will be down in this direction. This force, this charge will repel this charge, and therefore a force in that direction will exist. And notice we now need to find the vector sum of F23 and F13. To do that, we need to take F13 and write it as the components of in the x and the y direction, which can be found using this. Then we find the magnitude of the two forces, F13 and F23, and then we find the x and y components of the final force, which simply can be found by adding all the x components together, there's two here, and adding all the y components together, which there's only one in this case. And that's how it's done.